Hey there, Knicks fans. The NBA season does not let an injury rule out your bet. Other sportsbook let injuries box you out, but Fanatics Sportsbook's fair play protects all bets from first half injury. So if your player goes out with an injury, Fanatics keeps your bet on the court. Make the switch and get more ways to win with Fanatics Sportsbook. Winning, it's different here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Knicks Film School Pregame Show. My name is Andrew Claudio, and it is time to preview another Knicks matchup, this time on Sunday night against the Golden State Warriors. Now, for those of you that circled your calendars to see if this could be a Knicks revenge matchup with Draymond coming back and get a second shot at Steph, maybe Jimmy Butler might be back. Sorry to disappoint you, but the Warriors are not going to be sending any of the players that I just mentioned. Obviously, Jimmy Butler's out for the year with an ACL injury. Steph Curry still not back from his knee injury. In fact, the full injury report, Steph is out. Draymond Green is out with a back injury. Our old friend Kristaps Porzingis is out. Al Horford, our old friend, is out. D'Anthony Melton, Moses Moody, Seth Curry, all not playing in this matchup against the Knicks on Sunday night. To give you a note on the Knicks injury report, Cat has been upgraded to available. Josh Hart and Jeremy Sohan are still questionable, so we'll see who plays for the Knicks in this matchup on Sunday night at Madison Square Garden. Also the same night as the Oscars, at the same time, also the same night, for those who care, as the Dominican Republic against USA in the World Baseball Classic. Yes, I'm bringing that up. I apologize to all of you that aren't watching baseball, but that's my thing. And yet we're still here to talk about the Knicks and the Warriors. And joining me to do that from one of the staples of niche team NBA podcasting, from the Light Years podcast. I've had Sam on a couple of times. It's actually a shame that I haven't been able to reconnect with Andy Liu in the past. Andy, welcome back to Knicks Film School, sir.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. I know we got to talk Knicks and Warriors when it feels like the whole world is going to be tuning into other things. But you guys are going to love the game. Me as a Warriors fan, maybe less so. But you guys are cooking. So good for you guys.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And that, talk about a segue. You actually gave me right into the first question about vibes, because I've been through some seasons that have been bitten by injury. Honestly, before we started doing this at Knicks Film School, our worst season is with the year that the Knicks had Kemba Walker, and they went through a 3-17 stretch that extended over the All-Star break that derailed their season. They finished 11th, and at least you got to watch RJ Barrett and Emmanuel Quickley and Obi Toppin and what those guys became. I am so curious, the highs that you've experienced as a Warriors fan and a Warriors podcaster, what it's like right now in Golden State with what the state of the team is. And for lack of a better word, just kind of derailing the season because of the injuries. But has Father Time caught up with them, it seems like. So just if you had a word to describe what the vibes are through 68 games, what would it be?
I just in a couple words, I think it's probably just boring. If it's one word, a second word would probably be disappointing. I don't think there's much anger. I don't think there's much I don't think there's some visceral hate or reaction out there as a Warriors fan. And I think even if you're on in the Warriors organization right now, I think as much as you can try to look at what could have gone right, you just can't beat Father Time. Like you said, Jimmy's old, Steph is old, Draymond is healthy, but he's not good anymore because he's old. And so there's only so much you can do when that happens. And it's I think another word I'll give you is probably depressing. I mean, that's probably another word. It's an obvious one, but I just, what I'm trying to say is there just isn't any anger around the team. I think right now, nobody's we're because I think coming into the season, I think their thought was man, we missed out on an opportunity. Steph got hurt in the second round. And if we had Steph, they would have beaten the Wolves. They probably wouldn't have beat OKC in the West Finals, but they would have got there at least. And I think that was that idea there, I think, kept them going. But this is more there's no if this or if it's no, man, you guys are cooked. You guys are cooked. I mean, Steph has an injury where that's an injury where it's just you're old, runner's knee that you can't get healthy from, brother. That's just you're old. That's not there's no okay, like let's rest it for 2 weeks and then it should get better and we'll go from there. It's like, no, even if you rest it for 2 months, you come back and it just might be like, you know what I mean? Like that's just the beginning of the end type stuff for someone like him.
I never knew how high the ceiling to make of what the Warriors were last year, because when they got Jimmy Butler and they went on that beginning stretch, what was it, 17-5 to close the season?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, you could tell me they lose in the first round to Houston. You could tell me they make the finals. And this season, I almost had a similar thought of like, you could tell me they win 55 games and they're the 3 seed. You could tell me they're a playing team again because Father Time would, do what it did. I guess like where I'm going with this question is more about like the run in general, because we're at usually these types of seasons happen when you're on it. You're the last bit of juice that you have. So, I mean, you tell me, man, like, are you feeling as if you're at the end of the run in any sort of way? Or do you think they have like one more big like swing in them in a transaction this offseason?
I mean, I hope it's the latter. I very much hope it's the latter. I do think it's the latter though. I do think like, I think Steph will come back this season for like the last week of the season. And I think he'll play the playing game. And if they lose, they lose. At this point, you kind of hope they lose. You could rest until October and he'll be fully healthy. But I do think this offseason, I think we'll know pretty quickly, like, is LeBron coming? Are they going to trade for Kawhi Leonard? This isn't a very smart team anymore. Mm-hmm. So like they don't have many, like it's just like these are moves that a fucking idiot could think about, right? Like LeBron, like come on, man. Like you don't got to be a genius to be like, oh, if LeBron comes, we'll do the LeBron trade. Like every move they make is not hard.
Right.
Like trading for Jimmy
Giannis,
Butler, like okay, yeah, like they traded a first round pick for Jimmy Butler. Like come on, man. Like an idiot could do that. Like trying to trade for KD, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Giannis, like you just said, okay. Like there's no like the front office is very average. Like they don't have a lot of smart people up there, so it's just very average stuff. And they don't really think of stuff that's that like they're not thinking of things that like they do things that anybody could think about, right? And so we've seen that. We've seen the way they've drafted for years. It's awful. So I think when you say like, yeah, is there a move that they can make? It's those moves, right? Because there's no other. If they were creative, they would have made the right moves years before this. But now they've put themselves in this situation where there's just one move left. Like, will LeBron come like for less money? Can you move the Jimmy trade for Kawhi? Is Draymond going to take less, right? Draymond's got a player option for $27 million. Is he going to opt out of that and maybe take less for multiple years, guaranteed down the road, something like that? So you can move some cap space around and keep Melton and things like that. But yeah, man, I do think there is a run. I mean, the optimist take is like Steph's going to be healthy. I think they're going to keep Jimmy. Like I think they're going to hold on to him and hope he comes back in January, February, ready to go for that playoff stretch. But in the meantime, they've just got to not fall apart before that. And how are they going to do that? I don't know. Like I just keep going back to LeBron because I think that's the move. Like I'm not saying it'll happen, but I think that's the move. I think that's what they're thinking about.
Do you want LeBron?
Of course. I think it's hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious. I don't think it's going to work. Like, as in, like, I don't think they're going to win like a championship. I don't think they're even going to come close. They're just too old. But we're podcasters for the purpose of watching my downloads go up. Absolutely. I would love LeBron. From a narrative perspective, though, I just think it would be hilarious that all these years they fought and battled against each other. And LeBron's going to finish his last year or two playing on Steph's team, which is why I don't think he would do it, by the way. And if he would do it, I just think it would be weird for him to do his farewell tour with Steph on the team. Like, I just think that's weird. And I just think it's so weird all the way around. But, you know, LeBron has surprised us before, so maybe he'll do it. But absolutely, I would love it, man. Because here's the thing. I gave you one word to describe the team right now. Boring. Right? Because that would not be boring.
Yeah.
If it works, if it doesn't work, they win 44 games or 54 games. It would not be boring.
That first night, at least, when the injuries have, which is honestly the first 2 weeks of every NBA season seems to be like the best awesome. Because all injuries haven't happened.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that first opening night, at least with Steph next to Draymond, next to LeBron, would be pretty surreal.
Yeah,
you know. So I guess so. And look, this is the third. this is the third conversation that I've had about, I guess fourth one, because I just had a Lakers pod too. Like the Knicks keep coming up in a will the Knicks get LeBron this offseason conversation. The comp that's been made is that well, so like it's if the Knicks don't win the title this year, something's going to happen.
Well, I got news for Knicks fans. I got news.
Hold on, relax. We're not there yet. 30 top 3 offense, top 5 defense, top 5 net rating. Let's see how the playoffs play out. Regardless, if they flame out more so, and it's very clear like this whole thing didn't work. If they're a first round exit, some big changes are going to make. The comp that has been made is that he can be their Mark Messier. Like how, I don't know if you follow hockey, but like Messier came to New York, won a title with the Rangers. And if you ask New Yorkers, the only Stanley Cup that matters is that one. Meanwhile, you ask anybody in Edmonton, it's the 5 that he won in Edmonton or 4 that he won in Edmonton. Regardless, I just had a Cavs conversation. They would welcome LeBron. I just had a Lakers conversation. They want no part of LeBron next year. And now with you, it's like, yeah, sure. Why not? It'll be fun. It'll be interesting at least.
We don't have a championship to like it's not on the line for Warriors fans.
That's anymore. What it is. The Knicks, it's like, will you like the Messier comp is good because it's like, will you actually come here and add to your legacy? I don't think if he goes to the Warriors, any legacy will be added because it'll still be, it's like Durant. It'll still be Steph's team, right?
Yeah. I mean, like they're not going to win a title. It'll just be cool. Like, I think it'll be like a friends and family gathering. It'll just be like a nice, cute story. And I don't know, again, I don't want to turn this into the LeBron show, but I think there are other teams out there like the Knicks, for example, like the Cavs, for example. Like he needs to go back to the Eastern Conference. Like he's been in the easy conference his whole career. Like just go where you've been, and you know what I mean? Like he comes to the West and things are different. You know what I mean? Like you can't just coast half the season and then just decide to show up for the postseason. Like, buddy, you got to actually play basketball. So I don't know, maybe he'll go. I don't know.
So I'm going to take your lead on you telling my audience that you got news for Knicks fans. They're not winning the title this year. Let's have the Draymond conversation now, shall we? Yeah. Because Draymond has said some things about the Knicks on his podcast. He's like us, a podcaster.
Has he?
And as someone who doesn't listen to his podcast, I have to applaud his social media team. All of the things he says about the Knicks seem to end up in my algorithm because Knicks fans are obsessed with anything that gets said about them.
Sure. Of course.
I got to be honest. I'm glad that he has like found his way into what his post-career will be in the media and having a microphone in front of his face. I think the only thing I ever objected to was what he said last year about Cat ducking Jimmy when Cat was like at a funeral, when his now fiance like lost somebody. And that's the only thing I ever really objected to. And so then there's the like Tibbs was hugging him after a game. Mike Brown was hugging him after a game. And it just was like not a good look. Yeah. When I tell you that the majority of my fan base just cannot stand Draymond, despises Draymond even, what is your reaction to that?
I'm not going to defend him. Draymond's been pretty unbearable for a couple of years now.
Really?
Like he's been pretty, as a Warriors fan, like, look, I'll give you the standard, like, I'll give you the standard. Like he's great. He's a legend. He's one of the main, he was the second best player when they won their first title. They should have won 2 titles, but he cost them the second one. But if they won the second one, he would have been the second best player then. Like this is, it's like a little secret for non-Warriors fans. Like Draymond was better than Clay. Like in their prime, like Clay had the better moments, but Draymond was like elite. He was the best defender for 5+ years. Like Kawhi was not close to this guy. Like this guy was a fucking monster. Okay. All that being said, he's completely lost his mind the last couple of years. Like the anger issues are ridiculous. Let's just go back. Like you remember the Rudy Gobert stuff. He's getting ejected every other game. He's just yelling at people. He's punching teammates. And it's just like, it's gotten to the point where it's a stomping guys. Remember the Sabonis stuff, and it's like, yeah, you defend some of this stuff because Sabonis is a clown, but it's like Rudy Gobert is a clown, but it's like, dude, you're a bigger clown for the stuff that you're doing out there. And it's gotten to the point where he's not good enough to be doing the things that he does anymore. And he's gotten to the point where he's just not good. And it's slowly, like at first, like when the Warriors won the championship, like 2022, 2023 season, was like, okay, now you're doing a bunch of weird stuff. And it's like, it's not really worth it, but you're still good, and slowly come down. And now it's like, okay, anything that you do is just not worth it. Like nothing you do is worth it anymore. Including, I think his podcast is a joke, because here's the thing. Here's another secret. Nothing he just says on the podcast he believes. Like if he actually said stuff he believed, like honest truth, it would be more entertaining than what he actually says. Like what he actually says is just stuff that he thinks is going to be like cool takes. Like if he actually said what he believed, then like it would be hilarious. It would be an entertaining show, but also like it'd be pretty problematic, right? Like we know, like all your listeners, like we know like NBA players, like professional athletes are problem. Like if he actually said what he believed, like it would be on one hand very entertaining, but if, but instead he says all these like weird takes, and like he tries to be like a Stephen A, and then he like tries to be smart and talk about like, I don't know. I can't stand. You're not going to find a Draymond defender here. So I've just about had enough. The problem is, again, he has a player option for $27 million next season. He will be back. He will not be traded. Steph doesn't want him traded. We live on.
I will just let you know, you just won over my audience with everything you just said, because of how much they can't stand Draymond for almost all the reasons that you said too. And like, I respect him as someone who's contributed to one of the greatest dynasties that the sport has ever seen. Right? Like you can't take that away. He was the defensive engine of the death lineup. Because he's able to guard 1 through 5. You respect what he was. Tell me if I'm way off base with this comparison. If like Jalen Brunson is like 60 to 70% of what Steph is, right, in their peak and what their prime is and what they are to a contender, Josh Hart is like 60 to 70%, or maybe even 80% of what Draymond was. And yet Josh Hart, because he's attached to Jalen Brunson, almost has carte blanche to be like not shoot threes and have these moments where he's like that's our version of that. Yeah. And I understand, like I love Josh Hart. He's a playoff hero for a lot of us in New York, but I recognize the reason I love Josh Hart is because of Jalen Brunson. Draymond Green is able to have the podcast and say the things and talk with an authority as a champion because of Steph Curry. If he was attached to any other All-Stars hip that wasn't one of the 5 to 10 greatest players ever, I wonder if he would have the same credibility. Am I off on that? Andy?
I think the nuance is that you're right. If he was on any other team, he wouldn't be who he is today. I do think the pushback I will have is I do think you're underrating Draymond and how good he was when he was great. Okay. And I think that version of him is, I think Josh Hart is like 40%. Like I think he's like
that's 40% fine, but you see the comp I'm making. It's right. If you attach Draymond to anybody all-time, like if you just attach him to the 60th greatest. Okay, how about this? You attach him to Dame. They probably make a conference final, maybe a final or two, right?
I agree.
But Steph, and this is more just how highly I regard Steph. I don't have to tell you how great Steph Curry is. You could argue Steph's top 5. I would hear the argument. Everybody's shooting 43s a game now because Steph decided to make us all count by threes now. So that's why I'm saying, because you were attached to his hip, it's different.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I think the only thing is I think Steph would tell you that he wouldn't be where he is today without Draymond. And I think that's part, that's just, they've been through the wars together, but uniquely Dame is probably, because you picked a hell of a name, like Dame is probably the only guy that would be like, and believe me, Dame has felt that way for a long time, where it's like, if I had Draymond, I would be just like Steph. He's felt that way, and he's even almost like kind of said it multiple times.
Really?
And I think that's where the value of Draymond is. I think still underrated. Not now, but like looking at the career of when you look back at Draymond, I think the Draymond thing is, here's what I'll say: his mouth will, I think, tarnish just how great he was when he was great. Like just because he's so easy to hate. And he's not like, it's not like he's Charles Barkley. Like, he's not funny. Like, he's just an asshole.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Chuck is funny. Like, Shaq is an asshole too. But like, at least he's like kind of like a big teddy bear. Like, he kind of PRs himself that way, and it plays off with Chuck. But you could tell Shaq's a dick. I mean, everyone's read the stories. Draymond is just comes off as a dick. Like, you're not funny. You're not that likable. Like, he's not a likable guy. And so it's like, I never understood that, he's going to be a great media person. Like, yeah, when he talks about the game, he is smart, but like, he doesn't talk about the game. I mean, he's like a take artist. It's like, you're not talking about the game. Like, you're not doing the love of the game, mind of the game stuff. Like, if you do that, like Draymond's IQ is top tier. But that's not what he's doing on his part. Like, he's not doing that.
Right.
So, like,
yeah. Though, like, to your point, I can't believe I'm going to be the one to defend Draymond on this. Like, there was I'm sure you remember the altercation or the first interaction he had with the TNT guys, where he said, "I'll come take that job," I guess, from Chuck, I think, because Chuck was talking about Draymond, and he said something along the sorts of that. And then it was one of the playoffs where the Warriors were eliminated. It might have been when they lost to Memphis in the play-in game, right? So Draymond then made his TNT debut, filling in for Chuck on one of the nights, because they were like, TNT became every night, but it wasn't the main crew every night. And I remember him sitting in for Chuck one night and explaining how they were guarding. I forget what team it was, but he actually broke it down from an X's and O's standpoint. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I see it, you know? And to your point, he's then gone down the lines of, you know, okay, I need to make fun of the Knicks because they're the biggest market. I need to, you know, I think asshole is his like persona that he's trying to go for, where it's like Shaq, but hasn't learned how to also laugh at yourself too, which is the whole point of this entertainment that we're in. Look, I think we've successfully had the Draymond conversation to the satisfaction of Knicks fans. So I thank you for helping me do that, Andy. The last thing I'll say about just this whole, I guess, Warriors era that I wanted to discuss. You got the 90s Bulls. You've got the end of the 90s, early 2000s Lakers. I guess the 80s, you got the Celtics and the Lakers. I mean, just pick a Celtics dynasty from the 60s or 70s. And then you got the Warriors in the 2010s. I guess you got the Spurs, but it's like more scattered than it is a dynasty, but it is 5 championships in 11 years, right? Or in 14 years.
Yeah.
How do you, as a Warriors, as fan, as a content creator, as a voice that's like covered most of this, right? How do you think the Warriors should be regarded with all of them?
That's a dense question with so many ways you can go about it. I think the longevity is probably not as like long as you would think. Because you just mentioned the Spurs 5 and 14 years. Like, if you think about the Warriors in the last like 10 years, like it's actually been like not like anything insane. Like maybe 8 years. Maybe let's take out the 5 straight, right? Like let's take out like
since the 2019
stretch.
Finals, like basically since then, it's one real playoff.
10 is too crazy. So I'm what I meant was like, so it's like it's when you think of from that perspective, it's like, man, they had the highest of highs, and then they've really had some of the lowest of lows, where they had the number 2 pick overall, and then since then they've been like treading water. And 500, they had that crazy run in 2022, and they won a championship again. Like, I'm not sitting here saying like these championships are easy, like Knicks fans, right? Like any fan, like, you know what I mean? There's like just one champion. Me growing up, like before Steph came, like the Warriors hadn't won a championship since way before I was born. So I think you don't take any of these things for granted. But to answer your question, I would say like the highest highs, as much as I know, I'm 34, so I've never seen the Bulls. I grew up on the Kobe Lakers and the Spurs, like everyone else my age, obviously. And I would say like the Warriors are better than those teams. I think not close in my eyes, having watched it. But you know, I think they're right there with the Bulls. I think in my head. And then if you go even further back, like I think just the game's so different. Like players are so much more skilled that I don't even think you can count those teams. And I mean, even if you watch the Bulls, some of those clips, you're like, man,
They're bad.
Oof.
Yeah. Well, bad isn't the word. For their time, they were great.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. You know,
because I have this conversation a lot with
on NBA League Pass. They have like you could replay those old finals games. And I went over to shout out to Jonathan Macri. I went over his house when he moved in a couple of years ago, and I set up like League Pass on his TV because some of us are more tech literate than others, right?
Yeah.
And we saw that Bulls Suns game 1 of the 93 finals was on, and we put it on, and there's 9 guys in the paint, like nobody's spacing. And we're noticing the differences. And it's like, okay, in today's game, you, Ron Harper, would be in the corner. You, Tony Kukoc, would be in the corner. There doesn't need to be a guy at the low block and the high block. Like they're running the triangle fine, but like, I guess that it's a different sport from then now. It's just you see how you're able to count by threes today, and why it's so.
It's just not fair. I think maybe the better answer is like relative to their era. I think the Warriors are right at the top with any other team outside of the Bulls, and then you can throw the three-peat Lakers right up there too. Like if you're having that conversation about like relative how good they were in their era, right there. Because I mean, the Warriors wouldn't have. I mean, the Warriors would have won 2019 if KD and Clay didn't freaking rip their limbs apart, right? Like, right. I mean, even if one of them was healthy, they would have won that title. So like that would have, but obviously I'm kind of there. But like, just that's how hard basketball is now. Like there's no team is going to win 3 in a row ever again, just because of the way. And now I'm going down on a tangent, but like I had these conversations with people. It's like, you can't win that many games now because the basketball is played in a way that you can't stay healthy. You cannot play basketball now in a way that you're going to be healthy enough to win 2 titles in a row, 3 titles in a row. Like Jalen Williams hasn't played in months. You know what I mean? And OKC's not winning a championship if Jalen Williams isn't healthy. So it's like, so anyway, I'm going down a rabbit hole, but yeah.
So I want to come back to that in a second, but do you get defensive about Steph at all? Like where he ranks all time?
That's a great question. Just a great question. I used to.
Okay.
I used to. Yeah.
How many players conceivably ahead of him all time do you think are you okay? Are you comfortable putting?
Well, again, I say this to say I've never been a great historical NBA guy. Like I've never been like, Bill Russell. That's the guy. You know what I mean? Let me put my Bill Simmons hat on and tell you why Bill Russell is the second greatest player of all time. So can I cheat? And I will tell you, like, I'm not going to count Wilt. Like I've just never seen these guys, right?
Yeah. You want to go with the guys you've seen? Go ahead.
Yeah, and put Magic. I mean, like MJ. I'm counting MJ, Magic, all these guys because I've seen enough of them,
right?
As I watched basketball.
Russell and Wilt, and I guess Oscar are like the 3, and maybe to an extent Moses are like the 4 in the top 15 that always get brought up. And I guess Jerry West. Like I take your word for it. People that watch these
cool.
Fine.
Like great.
League had 7 teams. I trust you. I take your word for it. Watching basketball on the radio.
I think in the top 10 for sure. And then 5 I think is tough. Like I love Steph. I've been the Steph guy. 5 is tough. So I'll give you MJ. I'll give you the LeBron. Like the totality of his career, right? Mm-hmm. But like then I think it's like, I don't know. Like, do you, even LeBron, it's like, do you put Kareem with LeBron? Because LeBron is very Kareem-y. Like, if I think Kareem is in my head, like, they're kind of the same. Like, Kareem is kind of underrated, where it's like the longevity is there, like the championships are there. And then it's like the numbers are just ridiculous for these guys. Right. And so I think LeBron is almost even a little overrated and Kareem is underrated. I
think you're right to pair them, though, in that any argument for 2. I got there close in 2018 where it's like he pulls this off. We can have the him versus Jordan conversation.
Oh, yeah.
After that, it was like, no. It's Jordan 1.
What do you have?
I would have Jordan 1, either LeBron or Kareem 2 and 3. And then I got to be honest, there's tiers, like, because of where you go from 4 to like 11. You could have Magic 4, I'd hear you. Russell 4, I'd hear you. Bird, I'd hear you. But I'll just add this.
Timmy, Kobe.
Tim Duncan, Kobe. If you put Steph at 5. So Shaq's interesting because if you want to have a peak conversation, Shaq's like in the top 5 for me. The most unstoppable thing I ever watched was Shaq in 2000. Like the only way that defenses decided we would stop him is to triple team him and foul him. Like just send him to the line. Right. Steph, I think, has the second most unstoppable peak I've ever seen. What he did in 2016 in particular, that 50, 40, 90, like averaging 35-5 with 5 threes a game. Like that's why I keep saying when I explain to my wife like the eras of basketball, like when we were first dating, it's like, well, first it was a big man's game, then like Magic and Bird like brought it around to the perimeter, and then Michael Jordan said you could dominate from the wings, and then like pace and space started to show up, and then Steph Curry showed up, and we count by threes now. And I'm able to quantify that way that the league changed in particular, he deserves credit for. So if you wanted to put him in that conversation, I would put him there. So I think as low as 8, as high as 5 is like the conversation for Steph for me.
I tend to agree with you. I think Sam and I have had this conversation many times. I think 2016 was the last great regular season in basketball in the NBA. I don't know if it's close. Like, how often do we have to watch the double bang Steph 3 in OKC? Like, even I'm sick of it, man. But the reason why they keep running it back is because it is the true last greatest moment of the NBA in the regular season. And since then, the Warriors won 73 games and then lost a 3-1 lead. Since that moment, every team out there is like, why should we try?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're just going to get ridiculed. Like, OKC gave it their best shot, but like this season, but it's like, also on the other hand, you were saying they were like, man, it's freaking hard. Like, it is hard to win 73 games. Like, and OKC, like they were there, but then I knew, like, as it happened, I was like, there's no shot, because no team, you need health, you need luck, you need generational superstar. OKC is that, but it's like you need all of that in one. It's not just like, oh, the Warriors are great. It's like, no, you need everything to be perfect, and you need a team that hates, that like is winning out of spite. And you got to remember, after 2015, everyone hated the Warriors. Like, this team, Kyrie, Kevin Love, they shouldn't have won. They're too small. They shoot too many threes. Andre Iguodala is the Finals MVP. You remember all that? Like,
I remember.
All that stuff. Like, that's what makes sports fun. It's like, and at the moment you asked me the question, do I like get defensive? When I was younger, 10 years ago, 24 years old, yes. 34, I don't give a shit anymore. 24, you know what I mean? 24, 25. I was like, fuck you guys, Steph's the go, right? Blah, blah, blah. But then that's what makes sports so great, right? Like, that's what made the Warriors try to win 70 games, because they're like, hey, man, like, fuck you guys. You remember that season? They go into Cleveland. They beat the shit out of Cleveland. Cleveland was healthy, because regular season games matter back then. And Steph after the game goes, man, I could still smell the champagne. Like, that was real stuff. And it was before that was LeBron, right? Like, you always need a villain. And before the Warriors, where they became the cute story, and then they became the villain. And then before that was LeBron in Miami, where people hated LeBron. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that was what makes stuff great. And now it's kind of like, I don't know, like, who do we hate? Hate?
I gotta be honest. I think you nailed it. That it's the Harvey Dent line. You live long enough to see yourself become the villain. I think OKC is there with like the foul baiting and how SGA is officiated. I'm trying not to be hypocritical, so I know Brunson gets calls, and like I do also
one of the best.
One of the best. I need to point out he's like averaging less than 6 free throws a game. He's not it's not as absurd. And the only thing I don't defend him, because he's very much the Knicks had a playoff series against Trae Young, like the first season of the Tibbs era, right? Lost in 5. Trae Young was doing his foul baiting, and I was like, that's terrible. We can't, this is not basketball. Then I got Jalen Brunson and saw like, oh, how beneficial that could be to an offense. Like, oh, okay, there's something to it. I'm at the point where it's not even a like I blame Shea, I blame Brunson, I blame any of the foul baiters. Like if the NBA wants to change it, change it. Like change the rules. If that like officiate it differently. If you wanted to maintain that. I do want to circle back to something you said in that you said you don't think the Thunder are going to win the title this year. That J-Dub hasn't played in a couple months and it's difficult to win back-to-back titles in the way the NBA game is played now. You also said the Knicks aren't going to win the title this year to my audience. So, if it's not going to be OKC, do you have San Antonio winning it? Do you have the Celtics winning it? Like, let's just start with the West. Who do you have coming out the West this year?
I'm going to be honest. I haven't thought of it too long. I don't believe in OKC and that winning two is it. So a couple of things, right? Winning two is very hard. Just in itself, like you've got to be an elite all-time team to win two. And if you look back at OKC's run last season, like this isn't hate. Like it's just they got away with some stuff, right? Like this is what people used to say about the Warriors, and you notice that people didn't say about OKC because OKC they don't bring that hatred out of them, right? It's because nobody cares. Like OKC's not interesting, so nobody cares. But they went to 7 against Denver, and Denver was on half. You know what I mean? Like they were half cooked.
Yeah,
right. Aaron Gordon
hired their coach a minute before the season ended. Yeah,
and then I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and then Indiana. Honestly, Indiana was going to win Game 7. Like Halliburton was going to go for 40.
No, I thought it. I was thinking it. Believe me,
like,
we all were.
We're gonna like Indiana was going to win Game 7, and like we don't even talk about it. Their best player tore his Achilles after scoring the first like 10 in a row. Like that, we just don't talk about that. It's just like what?
Yeah.
And then they're hurt, and Lou Dortz, I mean, at some point the it's like the Draymond stuff, man. Like it's gonna come back. Like you're a dirty player. You're always trying to hurt people. Like it's gonna come back. All that being said, obviously they're an awesome team. So if they're fully healthy, but I don't have them. Like I'll probably pick Denver.
Denver, interesting.
I'll probably, even though they're a mess right now, they are
dropped to 6 tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I saw they lost to the Lakers, but I'll probably pick them coming out there because I think Spurs are a year or two early. I think that's an obvious fade in terms of winning a championship. I think the Lakers, that one's obvious. They're not going to play any defense. So you go down the list. It's Denver. I mean, I'm not going to go Houston. I think KD and those guys. I think it's obvious they hate each other. So I'll probably go Denver. I'm missing a West team.
Minnesota. So I don't know if you're actually missing a West.
No, I'm not. Yeah. So by process of elimination, I'll go with Denver because Jokic just won one, and he's just too awesome a player not win another. And if guys are healthy, Aaron Gordon's back. Cam Johnson's been awful, but I think they have enough. They probably should have won that series if they were healthy. To be honest, so I'll go with that team.
Gotcha. Interesting. So now I got to go to the East because you have the Knicks not winning the title, and you just picked a team that will win the West. The Knicks are 2-0 against this season.
Yeah.
So who's going to win the East in your mind? And like, be as honest as you can. Take the Knicks Film School Podcast that you're on out of it.
I liked the Knicks like 2 months ago.
Okay.
To be honest, like
even though so just to be clear, they're playing their best ball now. But what changed in the last 2 months?
You know what? I think it's like fatigue.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's like you go through the regular season, etc. You see this, and then you see like other teams come up. Like you're watching the Celtics now, and you're like, I'm watching Jason Tatum come back, and I'm like, look, doesn't look amazing.
It's the one thing I've been asked throughout this season on the pod, like, what's the reason the Knicks won't make the finals? And I said it's one word. It's 2 words. It's Jason Tatum. He comes back and looks like legitimate, and we're already into this where he looks legitimate. I don't know. Like a month later, if he's going to look legitimate, some playoff minutes on there, will he look legitimate? But if he's back, that is a wrinkle that I didn't factor in going into the season.
Like he doesn't look awesome. Like he doesn't look unbelievable, right? But here's my thing, and maybe they'll come out of the East. But when I say I don't see them winning a title, I can't see the offense.
Okay,
just working in a playoff setting with who they have, which is Jalen Brunson at his style of playing consistently across 4 rounds, and take that aside, let's say he's still good enough to win games as the number one option. Who's the other guy that can score, that can be all right, Jalen Williams? Like, there were games where Jalen Williams had 30 plus points, and you're just like,
right,
I don't know. And that's where, look, defensively, I love OG. OG is one of my favorite players. Like, I get Mikal Bridges. I know he gets made fun of a lot, but like, I like Mikal Bridges. But like, defensively, like that, this is a really good, Josh Hart, you just said it earlier. Like, this is a good defensive team. Maybe even great in today's NBA.
Dude, top 5 in defense. It's crazy to say with Cat and Brunson in the starting 5, but they've been on a roll for like 3 months.
Cat tries. I
gotta be honest, they've simplified the scheme for him since mid-January, and he's in drop, and just keep your hands out of cookie jars, man.
I'm a Cat guy. Which Stan makes fun of me. I'm a Cat guy because the shooting talent is just too absurd.
It is.
So I've always been a Cat guy. He opens himself very easily to getting made fun of, but I'm a Cat guy. I would love him on the Warriors. I've made the case for the Warriors to trade for Cat, because if you put Cat next to Draymond, it'd be awesome. I just know that Draymond hates Cat. So whatever.
Dear.
Whatever. But if you imagine you put those two guys together offensively and defensively, but okay. The answer that I have, I'm dragging. The answer that I have is I can't see the offense function in a postseason setting. Like, maybe not even 4 rounds, but like to win 4 games. Like, they've had so much trouble beating these teams that they should have beaten. Detroit, and by the way, Detroit looks like they've taken a leap this season. I don't really believe in them, but like in a series against the Knicks, like, it won't surprise me if the Pistons won.
It wouldn't. No, it wouldn't. And they almost won last year. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they shouldn't have. Like, they shouldn't. But it's just, you can't go and rely on. You definitely can't rely on Cat, because you never know when he's fouling out. But you also can't, like, there's nobody else that you can rely on consistently offensively, and that's where I see. I feel I'm gonna say the same thing over and over again, but it's like that's the part that hurts, and that's probably why Detroit won't. Because their offense is like, it's Cade and a clown show, right? So that's why they won't advance either. But yeah, that's where I'm at with the Knicks, man. I feel like that's not different from any other season. So unless there's something that I haven't seen, and I could be wrong.
I'll just say this: like, they flipped the switch last year in the playoffs. Like, nobody had them beating Boston, right? And then they beat Boston. I understand what those first 2 games were, and I keep going back to like, how much should my argument be that they beat Boston? They should be, considered highly. I do think Jalen Brunson elevates himself in the postseason. One of the greatest, just like, not even trying to be a homer here, like, as many 40-point games, like, is mentioned in the conversation with Michael Jordan for how he scores. I agree with you. It can't just be all like Brunson heavy offense, which is why Mike Brown, who learned under, your guy, Steve Kerr, like, he learned how to be more egalitarian with the offense, and how to spread the wealth. I guess my only defense really is I'm big on precedent, and it's just a natural progression that, like, team makes to the conference finals. The 2 teams that were in their way last year, it seemed, were Boston and Indiana. One of them is no longer in their way this season. Yeah. So it's like, it's Detroit, who I've been going looking for the precedent that exists for a team that was just like a perennial loser for a decade, had one good season of 44 wins, and then made the finals the next year without a major, like, transaction. Like, the Jason Kidd Nets were the one I brought up, but they got, like, I just called them the Jason Kidd Nets. I've seen Vince Goodwill call them the 95 Magic that made the finals with Shaq and Penny. And no disrespect to Cade Cunningham, he's not Shaq. And no disrespect to Jalen Duren, he's not Penny. I think the only example that exists is the AI Sixers that made it. And with respect to the Knicks, they're just better than any team that the Sixers faced in the playoffs that year. So that's where I'm trying to find, like, it's really just a Boston conversation. Do you think them or Boston, based on historical precedent, will make it? And I like the Knicks' chances, especially if the Knicks end up with the 2 seed and Game 7 is at the real Garden, Madison Square Garden, not the fake one that they call in Boston. you know?
I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, we do need a Eastern Conference final matchup between the Knicks and Celtics. I don't know how the seedings would work, but
one of us would have to drop to 4 because then right now they're the 2-3. So one of us would have to drop to 4, beat Detroit, and then play the other after the other beats Cleveland. So we'll see.
Yeah. God, we need that. we need. Look. Here's the other thing too, right? The Eastern Conference is so wide open. Like it is always so wide open, and at the same time,
the guy on the 6th seed just scored 83 points. So you know, who knows where he could take them?
How the hell are the Miami the 6th seed?
Yeah, man. It's that whole division, really. You know how the Hornets have been like the darling of the sport for 2 months, right? The rest of their division outside of the Wizards has just like not lost. Orlando is now up to 5. The Hawks, I believe, are either up to 7 or up to 8, and they were on an 8-game winning streak coming into today. I don't know if they won their 9.
Let me ask you this, man. Like, look, I don't want to rain on the Knicks surge here.
Yeah, it's fine.
I just when I've watched them in the postseason and you know everybody watches all postseason games and the Knicks are always an amazing vibe. So I try to catch all their games because the arena's great. But they seem to struggle.
Yeah.
Like I could be wrong, but like the Magic and the Knicks, I'm not saying the Magic would win, but that is a matchup where it's like things get weird.
You are hinting at, I think, my biggest fear with the Knicks, and that's why the Detroit matchup, I'm not going to say it's a layup that the Knicks win that series. They've struggled with physicality in the past. Now, last year,
better than I did. Yeah,
well, like the physical nature of like this is why Knicks fans loved that team from 2 years ago with Isaiah Hartenstein and Dante DiVincenzo.
Hartenstein's so good.
Well, you're talking about some dogs, right?
Yeah.
Like, and
the Knicks have dogs. They do. And
this is where Mikal Bridges has to be brought up. It's like, okay, some of us are puppies, you know, and no disrespect to Mikal. And
Cat.
Well, so Cat, I mean, you're hinting at where I'm going with this, where the Knicks have to now win on talent and not we try harder than the other team. What I think has given a lot of Knicks fans confidence over the last 25 games in particular. They're number 1 in defense over the past 25 games. They're 18-7 over the past 25 games. They've become a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. The only other team that can say that is the Spurs. Is that like they're now winning by like the dirty work and like the offense hasn't been top 5 over the past 25 games. It's like we now lean on a defensive identity and a defensive backbone that did not exist earlier in the season, did not exist under Tom freaking Thibodeau last season. And it's given Knicks fans confidence that like at least we can lean on this as like our floor. And then the offense will just be better than the other team and score more points, you know? And it's why the Boston conversation becomes the most fascinating for me, because that's the only team I think can outscore the Knicks in the playoffs. With respect to Cleveland, like I think they're a great regular season team. I don't know if this is famous last words. Forgot about Cleveland. I'm just not going to be afraid of James Harden beating me in a playoff series, personally. Maybe game 1 or game 3, but give me game 7.
Depends what round. It's
not even, you're right. It depends what round. Depends what game. Game 1, okay, we got to prepare for James Harden. After game 5, I think the Knicks have a good chance in a matchup against the James Harden team.
Yeah, I think Cleveland, I'm with you on that one. I think the Knicks should pretty easily handle that game in 5 or 6. But I just think, a team like Orlando is scary to me. Like Jalen Suggs, just on Jalen Brunson, and
can they outscore the Knicks though?
I don't think they can outscore anyone.
I agree with you. The physicality scares me. It will always with this team. Like they struggle with physicality. They've been punked by too many teams this year. It's why and this is going to be my bugaboo, and this can lead to that game. But like Miami, if that's the 3-6, Knicks Miami, and it's like, well, you got to deal with Bam for 7 games on the defensive end, to be clear. I don't care about him scoring 80, potentially
40 free throws.
I know, right? You have to worry about him getting to 80 points in a game.
Better than Brunson at grifting.
Oh, yeah. Well, for a game, yes, apparently. Like the Heat have like this place in Knicks history as like a lot of like devastating losses have happened at the hands of the Heat. I will say it's been vice versa too. Like we're that game for a lot of Heat fans as well. I referenced that game because the last question I'm going to ask you, Andy, is I put this on the rundown. Bill Simmons coined the phrase as like the highest level of sports heartbreak you can experience is that game, right?
Yeah.
It's a page 2 column from 2008 that he put out there where he ranked the top 15 levels of heartbreak.
Yeah.
Game 1 against Indiana last year is that game for a lot of Knicks fans. And
really?
Yes, dude, they win game 1 after beating the Celtics, and then they be up game 1 up 1-0 against the Pacers. I believe that series goes completely different. I think they're playing OKC in the finals if they hold on to a 14-point lead with 2 minutes left. Yeah,
I mean, you know, like thinking about that, like, I don't want to cut you off, but like thinking about
you're good.
Like that's part of the reason why I kind of can't trust. It's just like I don't understand how Indiana beat any of these teams. Like I just don't. I don't understand. Like as I said before, like if Halliburton didn't tear his Achilles, like I probably would be sitting here not understanding how they were champions.
Yep.
Like I just don't understand. And so maybe that has less to do with the Knicks than just Indiana had some magical thing in them that just ran out at the end. But like it was magical enough to get through the Knicks. And I mean that's part of it.
I've had a Bucks conversation about the Pacers. I've had a Cavs conversation about the Pacers. I've had a Thunder cover. All of us are just sitting there like, what was that Indiana thing last year? Because all of our teams experienced the game in which it was over. Like you were starting to, as like reporters would say, like write your leads were done. Like you're putting the finishing touches on your game recaps. And then all of a sudden, like Halliburton hits a crazy shot and we're in overtime, you know? What is that game for the Warriors to you? I can think of 3 off the bat, but I'm curious which one you're going to
You can think of 3. Okay.
Yes.
I think it's a very obvious one.
Okay.
And I'm going to say it and then I'm going to take it back.
Okay.
because I'm a podcaster and I like to talk. So the one is Game 7, 2016. All right,
that was the one. That was number 1.
Very easily number 1. And I'm going to take it back because I'm going to say it wasn't that bad taking a step back and looking at it because less than a month later, Kevin Durant joined the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And it still hurts to this day, of course, that the Warriors lost that game. But I remember after that loss, I was in a haze. I mean, I was very drunk. So I don't really remember exactly, but I remember days after I was just like in a haze. And then Kevin Durant said, all right, well, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna come do and make the greatest team of all time. So that lessens a lot of that pain. If that didn't happen, that would easily be number 1. I am curious who the other 2 for you are. I'm not going to count the Game 6 loss against Toronto in the NBA Finals, and I don't count that because they gave it everything they got. Mm-hmm. That game actually made me love the Warriors more.
That's one of them, to be clear. So go ahead, continue.
That one doesn't hurt at all, and so but I get it. I think I get it. That one's like I get it. So I'm gonna throw you for a twist because to me it's like, man, they gave it everything they got. Clay gave it. He came out. He had a crazy moment where he came out with the ACL torn, made a free throw, and then ran back on defense. Like what? Like what is that? Like that's some shit. That's like champion stuff, championship mentality stuff that you don't get from the majority of players. Like Steph, Draymond, Clay. As much as, you know, Draymond and Clay are kind of like, Clay's not here anymore. Draymond's kind of a villain now. But man, you got to remember at their peak, dude, like these guys, like they were the toughest motherfuckers. And I think people don't realize that these guys were the toughest because they don't look like LeBron. You know what I mean? Like they just look like Steph's only a couple inches taller than me. You know what I mean? And Clay's like a skinny dude. He's 6'7", but he's skinny dude. Draymond's 6'5". Like he's not tall in the NBA world, and he's not muscular or anything, but these are the toughest dudes. Okay. All right. Last one.
The third one I thought of was last year. What, Game 1 against Minnesota when you lost Steph?
No.
Okay.
I'm gonna. So we're not picking because they were never going to win the title. So yeah, it hurts, but they weren't going to win the title.
It's candidates though. I figured game 7 of 2016 because of how, I mean, that was a 73 win team that would have been back to back.
By the way, do I have to choose a game or can it be a sports moment? Because
I'm curious where you want to go with this then. What's that moment?
There's only one.
Okay.
The moment they drafted James Wiseman.
So
absolutely brutal. And the cascading effects of them drafting James Wiseman completely ruined the second half of this dynastic run. Completely. From 2020 on, they won a championship in spite of them drafting 3 lottery picks, 2 of them in the top 7, 1 James Wiseman, 2 Jonathan Kuminga, ruined the last 5 seasons. And I sit here and Knicks fans are going to be like, look at this clown. If they get this far in the podcast, look at this clown talking about he ruined it, even though they won a title in 2022. But they did. The Warriors did. And that is the moment when they drafted James Wiseman, who is, I don't think it's talked about enough, one of the worst picks of all time. That dude is fucking awful. He was awful the moment he got on the court. He was so bad. So bad.
Is it more of a that moment or that pick because of who you could have had instead of LaMelo, Halliburton, pick someone that went after, right?
Yeah.
Or is it more of a that pick because if the lottery gods shine even brighter and you get one, just move up one pick.
Yeah.
Ant Edwards and Steph Curry are together.
Pick one, brother.
Back half. So pick one. Both are back.
Either one, dude. Pick one, pick both. I don't care.
Got it.
But the moment they and look, Indiana's about to hit this situation too. And I don't. The problem is, well, you would think, you never know, but this draft is, it's a 3-4 person draft. So it's like Indiana can't mess it up if they're at the top. But it's like, okay, we'll see. You know what I mean? We'll see. Diabonsa might be trash. But it's like, but when the Warriors tanked, because Steph was hurt that season and Clay was out. When they tanked that season, they're like, we're going to get a top pick. We're going to do the second timeline thing. And the moment they decided, and maybe that's the moment they decided we're going to do the second timeline. Maybe I'll do you one better. It's the moment Joe Lacob said, ding, I'm a billionaire. You know what I mean? I'm a venture capitalist. I've made a lot of money. I'm a genius. It's like, yeah, you are a genius, buddy. But I always say this. Joe Lacob knows as much basketball as you and I, brother. He is not smarter than you and I when it comes to basketball. He's smarter at everything else, probably, because he's made a lot more money than him. Yeah, exactly.
Might buy the Padres soon.
Yeah. And hey, go run them into the ground. But it's like you are not smarter than any old person because you've never played, you've never scouted, you've never coached. All you is a fan. I'm a fan. You're a fan. We're all fans. All the guys listening to us are fans. You don't need to be making basketball decisions around, we need to go second timeline. We need to draft James Wiseman. We need to draft Jonathan Kuminga. We shouldn't trade him because he's got a ton of, you don't know shit. And that's the moment. And so maybe I'll take a step back and say that's the moment, the Warriors, and that was the painful part where they decided we're going to do a second timeline. They're you know what I mean? You're the smartest team of all time. No, you're not. You just have Steph.
So I will just say, and this has been a common theme when I talk to I just did a Raptors pod because the Knicks played the Raptors a couple weeks ago, and that game was a game against LeBron in 2018, right, where they lost in game 1 and they ended up losing the series, and then the next year they won the title. OKC, that game is either game 6 Clay pick a game. But they're defending champs.
Game 7, yeah.
Well, so the game set, pick a game for the Thunder. They're able to get over it because they're champions now. And ring night for OKC this year, Kevin Durant was in the building, so there was healing there. I speak on behalf of Knicks fans that it's I don't have that game happened, and I don't have a championship to turn to be I'm over it yet. Which is why I think last year means so much to Knicks fans. And I also speak on behalf of Knicks fans when I tell you, I look forward to the day that I don't have a game to turn to because I've won so much, then I could just be like, oh no, that draft pick didn't pan out the way I wanted it to.
Right.
I was able to just watch a decade of the greatest shooter ever and a 5-year stretch of unstoppable basketball, So like you said, the Warriors have have blessed you and Warriors fans with a charmed existence the last 5 years.
I think
this era. Yeah.
I think that goes for like when we talk about sports, like I think that perspective is when you talk about different fans of different places, like that is huge. Like what you just said, like, because the thing is like, I'm a Giants fan, San Francisco Giants fan. And like, we had the same stretch. We won 3 titles in 5 years in 2010.
Yeah.
And we've been absolutely mid for 10 straight years. 10 straight years since that's happened. And I complain all the time. And all the time. But I've seen 3 titles and I was grown for those. I was 20. You know what I mean? For those titles.
Right.
And so it's like, so when you say something like that, sometimes I feel like a clown. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, I'm complaining about.
It's that's sports though. Like you're never satisfied, you know? Yep. Like you want to talk about groaning, even though you've seen greatness. I'm surrounded by Yankee fans where I live, man. Like
but they haven't won anything either though.
In a while. They've won 1 this century, right? Like, now ask me how many I've seen for my team.
Right, sure. Right.
So that's where
So let me now we're comparing. Let me leave you this one. How about like I'm a Niners fan, but I was born in 91 and I've never seen Joe Montana and Steve Young, but I've seen 3 Super Bowls. And you know what we did in all 3 Super Bowls? We choked all of them.
Yeah.
Like we didn't get blown out. It'd be nice if we got blown out, but we didn't get blown out. We should have won all 3.
Right. I don't think comparing anything to the Jets is fair. And I say this as someone.
All right. Yeah.
No. So like, I'm not even saying like, we have a recurring bit on the Knicks Film School podcast that I opted out of my Jets fandom last season because it's very much the scandal line of where Kerry Washington says, you want me, earn me. I'm going to need the Jets to earn my diehard fandom back. I think the Niners do have a claim to like their fan base is downtrodden with some of the devastating losses they've had the last couple of years.
It is
specifically the last 2 Super Bowls where you had 4th quarter leads. Like I'm with you there on that.
But like even you go back to the Kaepernick one though.
Yeah.
No, the Warriors were better. I mean, sorry, not the Warriors. The Niners were better. Like they had the better quarter. Like at least you can say Mahomes. Like whatever. But it's but like that second Mahomes team was not good. But we still lost. But it's like it's like you better quarterback. Joe bullshit. You had the foot. You know what I mean? It was just a whole your team was so good, and it's just like. Yeah. All right.
No, I hear you. Right. Believe me, I hear you. What was that? They lost by 3, but they were down 5 in the last 3 minutes.
Well, remember
first and goal. That's the Beyonce Super Bowl where the lights went out, right?
Yep. I was just about to say because they were down a ton. They were down like 2 touchdowns or something like that, and the lights went out, and then they came back, and then they had first and goal at the 5. They never ran it with Frank Gore. They never ran it, just like Marshawn Lynch and Russell Wilson. But for Seahawks fans, you know what? They get to do what I just said. They've won 2 titles.
Exactly. And you got to do the rehabilitation against the Patriots this past year. So you get to see that's what Knicks fans are waiting for. They're like, we get to look at that moment and say, hey, that was bad, but we're where we are now.
I might be rooting for the Knicks. I think you've got me on the Knicks bandwagon.
Good.
Rooting. I don't have anyone else.
I'll tell you, Andy, you fit right in. You hate Draymond. You're a cat guy. Like you'd fit right in on the Knicks bandwagon right now. Okay.
I just want to see post game at MSG.
After a title,
I just want to see the vibe.
Oh, dude, getting to the conference finals last year, the city shut down for a week and a half, and that's why the Indiana game is that game, because we were still riding that high. And then you told me we're up 1-0 and 3 wins from the finals. I think they ride it at least they beat that series. After that game 1. No vibe existed. Every Knicks fan was just terrified. I'm still terrified up 14 under any circumstance. Right. They played the 15-51 Pacers on Thursday, and I was sitting there Friday, and I was watching Nesmith hit a crazy shot in the last 3 minutes, and I'm like, uh-oh, it's happening again.
Here we go again. Yeah.
Right, like that's where I am at this point.
Sports.
Andy, we got to get you back. You're like, no disrespect to Sam, but I think you're now my Warriors guy, because this was just really fun to talk hoops with you. I guess other sports for the last hour. Before you get out of here, let the fine folks at home know where they can find you and all of your work.
Yeah. You guys like the Warriors, or you just like basketball stuff, man? Find us on the Light Years podcast. That's it, man. I appreciate you, dude. Much love, man. We'll do it again. It won't be a playoff preview. I'll tell you that for the Warriors, but I'm happy to come on anytime, dude.
I will say the last couple pods I've done that weren't against like tanking teams, I've been able to say, hey, maybe we'll do this again in June.
Yeah.
I unfortunately don't think you and I will be seeing each other until next season.
We won't be. We'll see you further.
There you go. Andy, thank you so much for joining me. And thank you to everybody for tuning in to another edition of the Knicks Film School Pregame Show. If you dug it, please head over to iTunes, drop a 5-star rating and a review. If you're watching on YouTube, please like this video. Remember to subscribe. I'll be back potentially for the Knicks preview the Knicks matchup on Tuesday against the Pacers. If not, I might be back for Friday's matchup against Little Brother in Brooklyn. But until next time, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Enjoy the game tonight, and I'll speak with you soon. Peace. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Connecticut, call 888-789-7777. Massachusetts, call 800-327-5050. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Maryland, visit mdgamblinghelp.org. Not available in all states. Terms apply. See the Fanatic Sportsbook app.